Today's project is going to be another bowl. The reason for the quick succession of bowls is that I had a message sent to me by one of my subscribers, Mark from Belgium, giving me a different finish to possibly try, and it uses melamine lacquer as well as wood wax 22 and the sanding sealer that I normally use. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I'll go through that process when I finish turning the bowl. I'm going to be using this bowl blank, which is Cedar of Lebanon. One point to note is that if you have a lathe which has a facility for turning the headstock, as this one does, when I'm turning bowls, I'll turn it round, so it makes it a lot easier and a much more pleasant experience. You're not leaning over the bed all the time. When you return the headstock to its original position for doing a spindle turning again, always make sure you remember to align the centre of the headstock to the centre of your tailstock, because it only has to be out a mil or so, and it'll make a lot of difference when you're cutting a tenon on a spindle. When you turn it around and put it into your jaws, it will not run true. So merely put a four spur drive on the headstock and put your live centre into your tailstock and marry up those points as close as you possibly can before you tighten down your headstock. Just a little word of warning, if you like. I still do it now sometimes. I turn it back round, carried on turning the bowl, and then I go to do some spindle turning and can't understand why that spindle, the tenon, is not true. Well, that's the reason. Okay, so we'll mount the bowl onto the lathe. And then just lock off the headstock and tighten it on. Okay, now I'm going to power sand the outside of the bowl, hand sand the inside, and I'll come back when I'm ready to put the finish on. Okay, so that's the bowl sanded now up to 600, and we're going to apply this new finish and see how it goes. Let's get some sanding sealer on there. I will say with this wood, it's quite an oily wood, so I have no idea how this is going to accept the finish I'm going to be putting on there. Let that dry, I'll cut it back, and then I'll apply a coat of melamine lacquer and let that dry, which should take about 5 to 10 minutes. Lightly denib the sanding sealer now, melamine lacquer, and I'm using a chestnut product, which is what I tend to do. I have no idea what quantities to use. This is a learning curve for me as well. So I'm just putting it on, giving it a good coat. And we'll let that dry, which takes about 10 minutes. applied a little bit of wood wax 22 to a cloth, and we'll put a bit of light on there, just I don't know, that's better, and we'll see what happens. And this will be the first part of the process. I'm going to coat a friction polish. Rag. Put a coat of friction polish on. Now what you're most probably aware, the more experienced turners with friction polish, there's shellac in there, so always make sure you give it a good old shake, because the shellac tends to sink at the bottom if you don't use it that often. Okay, I will finish that in. It's starting to build. It is starting to build. Right, another coat, another burnishing with wood wax 22. So this is the, whoops, that one there. Yeah, we'll use it. There we want. It's falling off. Okay, so this is the second burnish with wood wax 22. Of course, the big thing with this is it'll be a lot harder wearing. I'm going to let that dry a bit longer and give it another. I put one more coat of wax on because I just felt it was necessary. So I'm just buffing that out now, and yeah, there's a good gloss on it. It's a good. I don't think this would actually, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I don't think this is ideal for a high gloss finish, this wood, because it's a little bit oily, as I say. I think that'll be a little bit more hard wearing possibly than just the wax finish that I normally give. Anyway, we'll flip the bowl round now and turn the inside, and we'll see how it looks when it's finished completely. So we'll flip the bowl about now and put it into the, take it off the worm screw. What I've done, I've just given the gouge a little touch up on the grinder. I think that's about it now, so what I'm going to do now is to sand him up, and we'll come back for the finish. Okay, I've sanded down now to 600, and we'll go through the process again now, and I've, just to make sure, wipe off any dust that's accrued on there at all. That's a good word, isn't it? Accrued. Sanding sealer mix to begin with. So now I'm going to apply a coat of melamine lacquer. Let let that dry. And now we're going to burnish with wood wax 22. Nice markings on the plate, if nothing else. A coat of friction polish. Yeah, it's a nice finish. Finally finish that. It's certainly starting to feel like a piece of glass now, I must be honest. So again, your comments would be appreciated regarding the effects that melamine lacquer has on work. I would imagine it gives it a harder, longer lasting finish. Comments would be appreciated. Right, we'll let that dry up a little bit and then I'll give it a final buff, and then that'll be it. I'll be honest with you, it's a nice finish, but I don't see any benefits over the one I normally use, but I will use this again. And thank you, Mark, for sending me it. I will try it on a different wood, and I don't think this is the best wood, as I keep saying, to actually show the finish to its best. But nevertheless, I've enjoyed turning the bowl, and worry not, I shan't video another bowl for a while. We'll leave that to the experts, Eric Anderson and Alan Tyler. They're the boys to watch turning a bowl, because they certainly have it down to a fine art. Well, that's it. There is a luster there. I can't go as far as to say that there's what I would call a high gloss on there. It's a very hard finish, it's a nice feeling finish, but as I say, I'll put some photographs up at the end. You make your own choices, what you think is better, and as I again say one more time, I think it's the wood that doesn't offer itself to a high gloss finish. However, well, thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers now.